Okay, so we start in the key of F major with the 1 chord. Then we quickly go to an F9 chord. So we turn that 1 chord into a 5 chord to get to B flat major. Now this is our 4 chord in the key of F, but we're actually going to change it to minor right after that, which is an easy way to get back to the 1 chord. So we have So that's our B flat minor 6 chord. It also can act as a diminished chord as well, which resolves to your F chord. Now this next part is a G7. So this is typically the 2 chord, which is minor, but we're going to change it to a G7, which is going to allow us to get to C, which is the 5 chord of F. But you'll see instead of playing a C7, we're going to make this a C suspended chord by playing a B flat over C. So this is going to come up a lot in this arrangement. We have the 4 chord over the 5. And it gives you a nice suspended resolution back to F. So we repeat to the 4 chord. Okay. Now the second time, it's really interesting because of what the bass is doing. So the bass for the F9 is playing the 3rd, the A, and then going up to B flat. And then for the B flat minor, it's going up to D flat. So it creates a really interesting diminished sound. And then it resolves to C while we're playing an F chord. So it's the 1 chord with the C in the bass, the 5th in the bass. Now, this second time is where it gets really interesting. We're going to go to a D flat chord, a D flat add 9 chord, and then an E flat, so same shape. And what we're doing here is we're treating this as the 4 chord and the 5 chord of a new key, the key of A flat major. So this is a pretty big change from F major. We're going up to a new key, a minor 3rd above. Now, why does this work? Well, I like to think of it as this A flat major having a relative minor of F minor. So it's essentially going from F major to the key of F minor. But we're not thinking of F minor as the 1. So we're thinking of A flat as our new 1. We have our 4 chord to the 5 chord. We repeat that, and the second time, we're going to have that same suspended, that same sound as before, which is the 4 chord over the 5. And then we resolve to the 1, which is A flat major. Now right after that, we're going right back to the key of F via its 5 chord, the C chord. And again, it's going to be suspended. So again, you can kind of think of this as a B flat over C. And coming from A flat, it's pretty interesting because it's basically A flat to B flat. So it's almost like a 4 to 5 chord progression in the key of E flat. But instead of playing B flat, we're going to play B flat over C, which gives you the 5 chord of F. So it's an interesting way to get back to our original key of F major. So there's your typical resolution. So at this point, this is what I consider to be the main part of the song, or the chorus. We have our 1 chord to the 4 chord to the 5 chord. Now at this point right here, again, we're playing it as a suspended chord. So most of the 5 chords in the song are going to be suspended. So you have the 1 chord to the 4 chord to the 5 chord. And the bass again is doing an interesting thing where it's moving from A, the 3rd of F, to B flat, to C. And then it's going up to a D note, but we're not playing a D chord here. We're going to be playing the 4 chord, the B flat. The D is the 3rd of B flat. Okay? Then after that, we get back to our 1 chord, but this time again over the A note to the 4 chord, kind of a suspended 4 chord. And again, we're playing, at this point, we're kind of thinking of it as the B flat over C again, that 5 chord. Back to the B flat with the D in the bass. Now this is where it gets really interesting again. So at this point, we're changing keys, but instead of like before, we went to the key of A flat, now we're going to the key of A major. So we're playing a little A major chord here. And again, we're doing like the 1 chord to the 4 to the 5, but the bass is playing a C sharp. So the bass is moving up. Really cool bass movement. 3, 4, 5. And we're playing some chords underneath it. So the 1 chord to the 4. And then again, that kind of suspended 5 chord. An E sus. Now from here, from E, we're going to go up a half step to an F sharp or an F diminished, which is going to get us to this G flat minor chord or an F sharp minor chord. So if you call it F sharp, you can think of it as the 6th chord in the key of A. But then right here, when we get way up to this note, we're actually going to get to G. Okay, so from G flat to G, and then back to our A chord. So this is kind of like a resolution to A. Okay, so it leaves the key for a second, gets back to our A chord. Now right there, again, the bass is moving up from F, F sharp, G, to A, then to B flat. Okay, so this part again is like a B flat sus or like an F over B flat, but it's essentially the 4 chord. So from the F sharp minor to like a G major to A to like an F chord over B flat. Really interesting progression. So, and then we have again, the bass can continue to move up to the C, which will give us that suspended 5 chord, which resolves to the 1 chord.